Hi everyone, I'm here again. Here I am, like a bad penny, keeps showing up. But anyway, what I want to show you today, I started on this like a long time ago. And I work on something for a while and then I just kind of leave it by the wayside and then and I don't touch it for a while and then I'll see it and then I'll say, oh, I want to work on that some more. And so that would happen here. I guess I started this about a year ago. But this is just, I guess you would just call it textile art. It's got what we call slow stitching in there. There's some crochet in there. Um, a crochet them bonbons there, and this I can't remember what you call that thing right there. I need to make some more of them and remember what they're called. And I've got some wool in there where I did wool felting. Felting, there's some felting in there, and there's just a lot in there. But what I want to do now, I mean, you can look at this thing and just keep, you just keep, I put so much buttons. This is some braided um, cord. This background, the whole background, first started out as a piece of upholstery fabric. And it had this giraffe right there in the middle of it. And so I gave the giraffe a fat belly. And then I just went around with a running stitch or a stitch. I don't never remember the name of stitches. But I went around with the stitch and I just kind of traced around his body or her body, whichever. And and then everything is different. Like here, this is like a flower, and then done with the roving with the needle felting. Underneath that flower is a yo-yo, and then needle. This is some more of the roving for the stem of the flower, and then the green also. That's also needle felted in there with the wool, and then buttons, just and beads. I've got beads in many places too, and I love my buttons and special buttons. I love to take the ones that really stand out, and I like to put them where you can really see them. Now, but then some buttons, like these three down here, they're just plain old ordinary little buttons. So it really doesn't matter. These, I've got some vintage buttons in there. There's some of those little French knots on there. There's, the more you look, these are just little safety pins, little gold safety pins that are pinned on there. This is a piece of a it's a cluster actually, but it's got a piece of a measuring tape on there. And then I did some stitching around it, wool roving and stitching. Now I put the word believe on top here, but it may not end up that you could even see it because I kind of change things as I'm going. But what I want to do today is I started already here by taking my chenille it. I am loving this stuff so much, and I had just on other things I had used the sewing machine to put it on, but on this I just went on there with hand stitching it down the middle, and so and I want to go all the way around it. Now, see, some of my things like this here came right to the edge already, so I just went up this far and then started this far and went again. And so what I want to do is I want to just, and I'm putting 2 layers of the chenille on. I'm finding I really do like this chenille. I'm using other things too, some fabrics I can use, seam bias tape I can use, but the chenille, it really chenilles nicely because it is so loosely woven. So, and I like to use, right now I like to use um, two layers. Now, my fabric here isn't exactly squared off, but that's okay. I want it to stay that way. I don't want to square it off. I want it to be just the way it is. And which, see, I can put this right along the edge there, and you can see how it's like almost like on a curve. And so then I just take my thread, and I have a double thread because I put a lot of stress on it. So I use a double thread when I put this on, and then I just do, like I think you call a chain stitch, and I just go right down the middle of, I think it's called a chain stitch. When I first learned this from my mother, it was a lock stitch, and so when you're mending a seam or something in a torn garment, then this is what she called a lock stitch. But now, because each stitch is kind of locked in, because you go in farther, I mean, you come out in one spot, but then when you go back in, you go above that spot. So it kind of locks each stitch in. And that's what she always called it, but that might have been just her word for it. And it kind of stuck with me as the lock stitch. And so, and I just go right down the center, of this chenille, and if it's not, well, like that one didn't go right, and if I don't have it exactly in the center, and my stitches kind of go cattywampus in there some, that's okay too. I'm When you're doing something like this, you don't do it for perfection, and if you're trying to do it for perfection, you're going to fail. So, and I don't like failing, so I'd never accept I never not accept. I never whatever that would. I can't find my words either anymore. I'd never um look for expect perfection. I never do. I just um I just work as I can. There's some parts of this fabric is kind of hard to get the needle through, but I'm getting it. And so once you start expecting perfection, like I say, you'll fail. And because there's going to be little things, and maybe not fail, but get very disappointed in what you're doing. And I just don't get disappointed in what I'm doing. Everything turns out the way it's supposed to be. And so, and that's what you should do, is just when you're doing something like this, you're doing it for relaxation, for calming. Um, I mean, especially if you have something on your mind that might be troubling you, you know. Um, and I think we all sometimes have something on our mind that just troubles us at times. And when you have something troubling on your mind, it's best to just pull out any kind of an art, and any kind of an art. And so, and like this, I don't have any future plans for it. Even I don't know what it's going to end up as. It's one thing I do have a plan for is when I think it is finished or near finished. I don't even have to wait till it's finished. I want to get I want a nice piece of wood, like a branch from a tree. Then that will go across the top, and then I'm just going to have this tied, like looped. I'll have loops of maybe like twine that will hold this, You know, something rusticy looking, doesn't have to match, you know, but I want to find like a nice little branch of some kind and use that. And so, and that's what'll hang it. That's how I'll hang it. If I ever get it done, which if I don't, I don't. Um, or I have a like a bulletin. I got a couple different cork boards around that I can just poke things up on that I want to keep track of, and it might just with thumbtacks go up on the corkboard. You know, I don't know. I really don't know. It's and I don't feel like I have to have a plan as to what's going to happen or who's going to. You know, somebody might see this and say, "Oh, I want that," and you know, one of my children or something, they might want it. Or maybe I'll put it on one of my sales and auction it off. Heck, you never know. It might be just like one of those. Well, you never know. But anyway, so I don't know what I'll do with it. I don't have a plan. We don't have to have a plan. There's a lot of things we can do with it. Maybe I can just put it over my head in the rain to keep my hair from getting all messed up in the rain. Actually, I don't go out in the rain. But there's a lot of different things. And so, but just do it. You know, just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. And I don't like to hear people say, I can't do that. Because if you keep saying, I can't, well, then you can't. Because you've convinced yourself now that you can't do it. But if you say, I can do it, and you keep on, you can. Then you can. You'll convince yourself you can do whatever it is, and you'll get it done. You will get her done. And so yeah, I kind of do that with I have eating issues. You know, I tell myself, oh, I just can't eat right, and I have to stop that. I have to say, I can eat right. I can do this, and so and you know, there's things that sometimes we think we can't do, but we can really do these things. And so, and like right now, well, no, that was going to be a complaint. I'm not going to complain. Um, so anyhow, the chickens are doing good. We've now had them for 2 days, and they're doing good. They're so cute to listen to, and to sit in there and and just watch them. I just had Papa brought a folding chair back there for me in the garage so I can just sit right there with them and watch them and talk to them. And I which I want to do. I want to sit there and talk to them as they're growing up. You know, they're like what 3 days old now, maybe 4, and but I want to talk to them, and so that they are used to. I don't want them to be afraid of us. You know, when they get put out in when they're growed and put in a coop. I can't never tie a knot in these threads, so I have like I just cut that off right there. But then I have another one threaded. This one's got a little bit of thread in it. I'm going to so then when I start on the next one, then I just take them two end threads and tie them in a knot together. And then that works for me, even with my chubby little farm hands here. Yeah, I need to quit complaining about my chubby little farm hands because they are hands. So what if I didn't have hands? I was talking to my uncle this morning. My uncle's 83. He's a retired architect and draftsman. He drew for a living. He drew blueprints at the time that everything was done by hand. And well, now he's 83. He's retired, and him and his wife, him and my aunt Judith, they travel the world. They just amaze them to amaze me. And but now he's got a problem with essential tremors, and so which runs in our family. He's my father's brother, and so my grandmother had essential tremors, and her hands just shook, shook, shook. And now his is doing the same way. We were talking this morning as to how, it's blessing that he never got the essential tremors when he was working, which is good because he needed to have a nice steady hand. But now that he's retired, he has the essential tremors, and so his hands just shake terribly, and he can't write at all. And but he says if he has to label something, he uses his label maker. He just prints out the. He said can't even really type anymore because typing takes, you know, you. I mean, he knows how to type, of course, but typing. Yes, Papa. Typing takes skill and concentration too, and take your hands have to kind of be still, and oh, I so easily get distracted. I can be on a. Papa's got to tell me each little thing he does, and I understand it, and it's okay, but he's got to come over and whisper in my ear. He's going to walk to the road and back and just whisper in my ear. Well, and then I get distracted so easy, and then that's what I need to work on too, is patience with my poor hubster. He's dealing with dementia right now, but it's not bad yet. It's not bad, and it may not even get any worse. He just turned 78, so it's kind of it's not abnormal, but he's very dependent on me. He wants to be able to see me every second. He doesn't want me. If I'm in the bathroom, he's knocking on the bathroom door. If I'm walking to the kitchen, he gets up from where he's at and he follows me into the kitchen. He just, and I'm not complaining. I'm glad that I'm here for him, and I am complaining, aren't I? Okay, I gotta stop that. And so, but bless his heart, I'm telling you, he's still my rock. He is still my rock. He is still every bit of. He's still every bit of everything. I'm glad we have our chickens now, and that gives him another little thing to concentrate on or focus on, is the little chickens, because he's always loved his chickens. We've had chickens all the time that we've been together here on the farm, and we didn't have any last year. Last year the chicken coops laid dormant and empty, but now we have them again. So they're just babies, so they're in the house, in the garage area. I mean, our garage area is actually a room, but it's more of like a storage room. So they're out there, and so bless their little hearts, they are so adorable. I put up a little post on Facebook, a picture of them, and I'm gonna do, and then when they're a week old, I'm going to put up another picture so y'all can watch how they grow each week, the difference. They are just so cute, and they sound so adorable. I asked Papa when he left. My daughter took him to the Tractor Supply to go buy the chickens, and I says, now don't get any more than 8. We can't deal with more than 8. Well, he got 13 because that's all they had, and he didn't want to leave the extra ones abandoned. So we have 13. So, and then when we read up on these chickens, they're called well bar chickens. Apparently, they're real good egg layers. They make dark brown, large eggs. And some of them will even, they are such good egg layers that some will even lay 2 eggs in a day. So I thought, oh my goodness, we're going to have a dozen eggs a day, and which that's more than we can deal, that we can have. But who knows? We might put a little sign at the end. We did before when we had a lot of chickens and a lot of eggs, and we sold, just put a little sign out at the end of the driveway when we had extras. And then people would purchase them from us, which was nice. And oh, there it is. So we may do that. And in about 5 months is when they start laying eggs. Okay, so see, I stitched that all the way down. As you can see, it's a little on the curve. And that's just because that's how the fabric went. Well, here, yeah. None of this is all matchy or nothing. If I find something pretty, like this was just a piece of like a fringe or something, and I just put that on there. Just anything, and look how pretty. This one here, well, it's like you're doing a snippet roll. This is just a little piece of a little short snippet roll, and you just stitch whatever on it. And then this is another piece that I've put in a lot of wool roving here, and then I just started adding scrap fabrics and things on there, and yeah, I'll just continue doing that. You know, and I'll continue on this one too. Oh man, I put that on a piece of lace. Well, that's weird. But anyway, I guess I did. And so anyhow, and like I say, I put this stuff up, and then later on down the road I come across, in fact, I come across this when I was looking for, well, because I make my 10 by 10 different quilt blocks, I was looking, I knew I had some fabrics that I wanted to, let's see, did I put this right here? Where did I put these fabrics? Yeah. Oh, here. Oh, here's some of the fabrics I had. This is what I was looking for this morning, which, you know, they're like little, my curtains are made out of these right now. The curtains in here and in my kitchen. I have like a curtain in front of under the sink, you know, instead of a door, I have a curtain, and this is the fabric. And then this window beside of me, I have these same kind. But see, I've cut pieces. See how my mind just flips? I cut pieces like this out of there. I just went ahead and cut different pieces out. And so they're of different sizes, you know. And then I have, like, they're fresh eggs. Oh, I love eggs. Chickens. I love chickens. And see how I have different things of different, and so my 10 by 10 inch squares, oh look, see, there's a little lamb, and I like fabrics like this with little, look at, there's a little goose, oh, and a cow. They'll probably all end up on a 10 by 10 square, and then I can do different things around them. And like this here, I used one of these on a tote bag. Oh, this one here I used on a tote bag, but I made a square, or I mean, put it on like a little kawandi, and then I used that for a pocket. Sarah bought that one. She hasn't got it yet. It's on the way to her though. And so, but I love fabric like this. It's got the little images because there's so much you can do with them. And since I love working with my 10 by 10 inch squares, look at this piece of, isn't this beautiful? I'm going to make a 10 by 10 inch square out of that. because now that will be pretty. And then look at this. See, then this cow that has that same kind of a checkerboard around it. Oh, okay, let me put this back over here because I'm now getting lost. And so I gotta get back to what I was doing. But see, that's how my mind goes, though. I don't stay focused. I think I'm self-diagnosed as having, oh, what is that I have? And Papa said I'm crazy as a run over dog. No, what is it called? It's when you can't stay focused on one thing, you have some kind of a disorder. I can't think of it now. But anyway, I diagnosed myself with that. But I figure if you can't stay focused on just one thing, well then just do more than one thing. And then that's just beautiful. Oh, look at my postcard I got in the mail. You are enough. Be your beautiful self. And this here was made by Janie Renteria, and she sent me that postcard. Trucker Janie. She sent me that postcard. Isn't that beautiful? That's just beautiful. See, so that and then see now I started. This here was a little journal that I got from Sonia Trejo. She made this so cute. She made it out of tags. And then I was looking at that, and I just come across that, and then I said, I could try to do that, make a little journal out of tags. And so, but I didn't. I got this started. I started this, wasn't yesterday, I guess. See, another something that I started. But I used flashcards, and I just covered them with paper. This paper that I just got from Ray. She sent me a care package, and that's all I got done on that too. Maybe I should keep working on that. I don't know, but no, I just keep moving and a grooving. And okay, I'll get back to this now because I was just getting my blooming. They call this blooming when I'm blooming this chenille. Back in the day, chenille was so popular. There was a lot of bedspreads made with chenille bedspreads, and house robes and bed jackets that were done in chenille. And they were always so beautiful. And now, a lot of people collect those old bedspreads and things and take them apart and just use the pieces. But see now how that is all fringed up. It's all bloomed. Now see, I pulled some of these strings on the very edge. I'm going to go ahead and trim them off. That just pulled off of the Oliver gets his treat at 7 o'clock. But about this time, Oliver will go over there at Papa's feet and start reminding Papa that it's almost treat time. Did you hear him just kind of like a little whine? That's Oliver whining to Papa that it's almost treat time. It's 6:44, and they're right on time. I just don't know how that dog, and all of our dogs do that. We're down to one dog now. I mean, our dogs have all lived out their lives, and now even Oliver is kind of, bless his heart, he's a little bit all crippled and stuff, but he's still hanging in there. But he can still tell time. He still knows that it's treat time at 7, and that's how it's been. As long as we've had the dogs, 7 o'clock is their treat time. And even when the time changes on the clock, they still know. But anyhow, that's just what I wanted to show you, was that I'm working on this frame, kind of a frame around. And so I'm going to be going all the way around with this. And so like when I get to here, I'll stop right there and then jump over that piece and then do here. Yeah, we got a little bit, I think. Is a little bit? Yeah, a little bit's under the table. Okay. We only have one dog, but we kind of have like four. We have only one dog, but we have a little bit right now, which is our grand dog, and she's always here when her mom is working. And then Jeffrey was here overnight. He left already today, but he always brings his two dogs. So sometimes we have four dogs, but right now we're to two. But then when a little bit goes home tonight, then we'll be down to one dog again. But this is just fun, and so it's just, you put any kind of stitch in, any kind of somethings, and it's just textile art, and it's just and it's just and it is art. It's no matter if you think it's art or if you don't think it's good enough to be art. Well, then you need to have some help, because it is good enough to be art. It is beautiful, and so, and like on these, I can just look around it and I keep seeing, because it's been a while since I've done this. And so, like there, I see some little threads. I just covered them threads up with some wool, and I see some French knots under there. I forgot what we call these now, but I start with a ring. I forgot what I called them. So please put that underneath, so somebody who remembers what those are called, those little wheels. I can't remember what they're called now. And so somebody can help me with my memory is getting so bad. Me and Papa both, I'm telling you. At least we remember where we live. Thank God for that. We remember where the bathroom is, and that's good. We remember to eat, so that's good. So we don't go to a nursing home yet. And so, but you see how busy that looks? Now, some people might think that's too busy, but for me, I love this kind of thing. I just love it, love it, love it. And so, okay, now I'm going to find something to read. My last video, I don't think I read anything. And so I'm going to read, okay, I just got these chicken soup for the soul books, and I love them. And what I do is I flip through and find a real short story. I don't want to bore you with too much, so I look for one that's got just 2 pages. And I'll find one. Just hang on for a minute, and let's see what we... Ooh, I am a woman. Oh, but that's like 4 pages. We'll find one. Just a minute. This one is Think Positive. Every day is... Oh, here's one. Every day is Friday. It's only got these 2 pages. So that's what we're going to read now. Every day is Friday. Let's see what they have to say about that. Okay. Monday is a lame way to spend 1/7 of your life. Author unknown. I love Fridays, and I'm not alone. Most people associate the last day of the work week with feelings of relief, relaxation, and anticipation of good times to come in the weekend ahead. You know there has to be something special about a day when the feeling of celebration that accompanies its arrival is even commemorated in the name of restaurant chain. And so I, too, celebrate Fridays. Oh, that's our TGIF. Thank goodness for Fridays. After dropping my son off at school, I head to Starbucks to pick up a coffee treat of one type or another. Then instead of driving straight home, I generally take the long route through the most scenic roads I can find, which usually includes my favorite corner of the local state park. On and on throughout the day, I find myself smiling and happy for no other reason that the day's name starts with an F rather than an MT or a W. When I pick up my son again hours into the afternoon, we high-five physically and vocally, our chorus of Friday resonating at least as loudly as our hand slap. When we point out to each other the signs of beginning celebration in the college town we drive through. We see footballs being passed on fraternity lawns, hamburgers being thrown on grills, people parked on front porch swings, and parties everywhere swinging into action. Sometimes it seems as if the whole world is celebrating Friday. The other day I emerged from the doctor's office happy over a positive prognosis in a health situation I was concerned about. My good mood was amplified by the signs of spring that were bursting all around me. Flowers blooming, birds singing, bright sunshine all around, warm upon my back. I was suddenly ready to celebrate, and Java scented thoughts wafted through my brain. I whispered the word cappuccino and headed for the specialty coffee bar that was conveniently located just around the corner. My mind rebelled. What are you doing? It's Tuesday. Coffee treats are reserved for Fridays, and suddenly I realized how ridiculous that line of thinking was. Why should Fridays be any more special than any other day of the week? Why waste 6 days while waiting to rejoice on the seventh? Minutes later, I was walking back to my car with a big grin on my face and a raspberry mocha in my hand. A small victory, to be sure, but it's also an accurate example of how many of us live our lives. We're waiting for conditions to be right before we allow ourselves to enjoy our time here on earth. Maybe when we finally graduate from college and get a job, it will be time to celebrate, or perhaps when our toddlers are old enough to be in school all day. We'll rejoice when the car is paid off, or enjoy life when we're finally able to retire. And in that waiting, we waste so much of the life that God has given us and the happiness that can be found in our todays. What if we moved a little of that Friday feeling into our rainy day Mondays, our gloomy Tuesdays, midweek Wednesdays? Surely our lives would be much happier as a result. It's interesting to know that TGI Fridays isn't open for business on just the last day of the work week. No, they celebrate all week long and into the weekend. So should we. And that was written by Elaine L. Bridge. That's very good too, because celebrate every day. Happy today. Today is a good day. No matter what it, as long as the day of the week ends in Y, then why even worry about it? It's good. Okay, I ask God to watch over each and every one, every step you take, every move you make, and do some stitching on anything, any kind of stitching. And some people think slow stitching is like embroidery, but it's not. Slow stitching is just slowly putting your needle in and out of anything, and anything can be on that needle, and anything can be, it's just taking your time. So there's no right and wrong ever to slow stitching. It's just you're taking your time and moving along slowly. And so, I mean, even crocheting, if you're doing it slowly, you're making stitches, you're slow stitching. I got crochet on here. Okay, I ask God to watch over you every step you take, every move you make, and I will see you on the next video. You only believe. God bless.